sent him a message yesterday. He said he'd be here. I just sent him another link. Good evening, everybody. Uh, this is the Seekers podcast for March 23, 25. I'm Wendell Hurricane Burris, your host. We got Dale Bullock here, Barry Robinson, and BC Davis. We're waiting on our co-host, Neil Huff. He should be coming in any minute here. And we'll just go around like we normally do and introduce yourself and where you're, the area you're working. There he comes. There he is. He made it in there, co-host.
Hey, guys. Sorry about that. I'm up here at Redding Campground, so I'm having to use my phone, and I don't have the Wi-Fi from the house, so I'm trying to use little data as possible.
Right, I understand. We're just getting introducing and letting everybody know where they're at. We got we'll start with Dale and then go to BC and then Barry and wrap it up here. And go ahead and introduce yourself.
Dale Bullock, Heber Springs, Arkansas, Cleveland County.
You better lay down now.
BC, your turn.
Oh, okay. I didn't know who was up. I didn't know who was up next. BC Davis, primarily northeastern White County, Arkansas.
Awesome, Barry.
Barry Robinson, North Central Kentucky.
My name is Neil Huff. I'm from Cass, Arkansas. I'm reporting live from Redding Campgrounds.
We got a viewer. Hey, we're up to 5 years. Awesome. Cheyenne.
Go, Cheyenne.
Hey,
Hello,
everyone.
everybody.
Good to have y'all here. If you got any questions, post them in the comments and I'll post them or we'll go from there. We got some little activity that BC's been, someone's told him about. You want to go into detail about that, BC?
Well, just a couple of things. Well, first of all, was that orb that he saw Cache River bottoms some years back. There's about 6 of them. It was before, I guess they were duck hunting. He said it was before sun up, and they're standing in the water, and he kind of just looks up to his left, and there was this orb. He said it was like a dull yellow color. He said it was like almost within arm's reach. And he turned around real quick and told everybody to look, and he looked back, and it was gone. And then there was that when him and his uncle were coming home fishing one night, this down Hurricane Lake bottoms, and he saw something running alongside the truck briefly in the woods. Of course, he can give you better detail than I can. And it hit the side of the truck, and the truck moved perfectly sideways. So his uncle jumped out thinking it was a deer. He had a knife, thought he was going to go out there and slit the throat. There wasn't nothing there but a dent and some saliva on the windshield. Well, they got home. He got on the four-wheeler, went back up and down that road looking to see if there was a deer or anything. He said he didn't see any tracks, no blood, no nothing.
Whatever it was, I know moved fast then, didn't it?
Yeah, and his uncle's the one that graduated with me that saw one in 1976. It's an area called Buzzard Roost, which is near Russell, Arkansas. It's about 4 or 5 miles from me. And he was out there about dusky dark and said there was a pack of feral dogs that apparently were threatening him or might have been coming after him. He said one stepped out of the woods. He said he thinks to scare those dogs off. I asked him what, in description. He said about 8 feet tall and 4 feet wide.
Wow.
Yeah. And I said, we talked about it. I said it wasn't to his advantage for you to get hurt or worse by those dogs because the woods would have been filled with people looking to shoot anything that moved. And the Sasquatch probably did not want a lot of armed people out in the woods.
Right.
So But yeah, he's got plenty more. I'm not going to go in the rest of them because I don't want to take away all the things he's going to talk about. But he has spent a lot of time out in the woods, probably more times in the woods than he has among civilized man.
Right.
So
It'll be good to get him on here and tell his encounters and stuff. Looking forward to that.
yeah, well, one of the things that they went to Bowley Pond, that's like right before you get in Hurricane Lake, you turn left, and my cousin and I saw a bunch of arches and tree limb twists and stuff out there some years ago. He said, man, neither one of them would get out of the vehicle. Said they had this, that dreaded feeling, that feeling of dread, and you're being watched.
Right.
They both had it. Neither one of them got out of there till it finally got daylight.
I don't blame him. Renee Gayhart said, hello, everybody. Hello, Renee.
Hello.
Hello.
I want to say hi to Mom back here in the background. I said, what happened to your eye? Is that
Hello.
cataract or no?
I went back the other day after they'd operated and got the cancer and everything out, and they had to do a skin graft
Oh, yeah?
to keep this eye on this side where they done it from turning in. So they done the skin graft, and this right here is where they took the skin off, and that's where they done the operation.
Oh.
Yeah.
Now, Barry told me that you were in a steel cage death match.
Uh-huh.
I probably was.
So I think Barry might have been embellishing a little bit.
Mhm.
All right. We'll definitely be praying for you. Hope everything's going good.
Now, I need all you believe me. I got to wear this all week, and I can't take it off until tomorrow and rebandage it. And I tell you what, it's just worse. Tape's come loose. Members taped it and taped it and taped over tape, and it's just I can't see out of the right eye hardly at all because of the bandage.
If she'd let me wrap her whole head like a mummy, it'd be a lot easier.
Yeah. Well, if she's here and wrapped up that way in October, I could have her a job as in the haunted house. We're going to do a mummy scene.
Yeah, I've never been that far down yet.
Right. All right, Neil, you got anything going on over at OARC? And you said you're at Redding Campground, or did you say?
Yeah, I'm over at Redding Campground. People are starting to pull out now. I figured with the beginning of spring kicking in, everybody took advantage of the weekend, and my weekend just now starting. So I just got here a little while ago, set up the campers. So I haven't been here very long.
Well, that's good. Maybe that one park ranger will come by. He was really enthused about wanting to be part of the Arkansas Bigfoot cartel. He was actually from the Big Thicket area, and he moved up here, switched jobs to be here in Arkansas. And he said, "Man, I want to hook up with y'all," and I ain't been able to get a hold of him. Or he took all of our information, but he ain't never contacted me. So no.
Okay. Well, maybe I'll cross paths with him tomorrow or next day.
Yeah. Awesome. Dale, has anything been going on up around your area with Big Red or anything?
No, I hadn't seen anything. The only thing I had, I got that second handprint on the window here a while back, but that's about it.
It's been quiet around here. We ain't heard nothing or nothing. That's kind of strange. This time of year, they're usually moving through. You can hear them moving up and down the Catter Creek. But we ain't heard nothing. So, how about out your way, Barry?
No, not a thing. I checked the trail cams the other day, had 2,000 pictures and everything but what I was looking for.
Well, I'm sure that before long they'll kick up and be moving around. I don't know what's going on, why it's so quiet, but
Well, them blackberries and stuff start blooming pretty soon.
Yep.
Wild
Well,
strawberries.
I heard they had a fire over in Devil's Den. I'm just wondering if that'll start pushing something this way or different directions.
It definitely moves them around. I heard more reports after they burnt the Sycamore area from all around 56 and the northern unit, and people was calling me every little bit saying, "Hey, we saw something up here," and it was after they burnt the southern unit. So it definitely moves them around. I don't know how long it takes for them to get back in the area. I gotta have Marcus go up there and see if he's seeing any activity back. We went up there probably 2-3 weeks ago I took my cousin up there. He was wanting to hunt at Marcus's, and we went by our Bigfoot area there. Everything's starting to grow back and looks normal. So, but we didn't see no tree structures or nothing new yet because everything got burnt, So, I don't know. I'm hoping they're moving back into that area. It even affected there when they burnt near area 2. We know they're still there, but I think they're just really moving back into area 2. That the last investigation we had, of course, we was dealing with wind and rain and everything, but when we got ready to pack up camp and leave, when we had the most action.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
Yeah, well, I listened and listened and listened to those audio files, and I hadn't heard a thing yet. Lots of wind. That's about it.
But you don't get nothing if you don't get out there and try and everything. And we know they're still in that area. We got that new possible cave that Neil got up close to that we've been by there 100 times driving on that bluff. Hadn't seen it, but the leaves happened to be gone. And me and a guy named Chuck actually caught the first look of it. He said, "Look at that cave." I said, "There ain't no cave over there." And I went over the edge of the bluff and looked, and yeah, there's a cave there. We've been by it a bunch of times. Neil got up close to it, but there was something moving around inside, and till we got a whole team, we didn't go. He didn't check it out to see how deep it was.
Yeah.
And we was short on time that day, but that's definitely something now that we know where it is. We'll check it more out and see how deep it goes. It's at least, I'd say, 8 foot tall anyway. Maybe 10.
It's about 6 foot tall. It looks taller than what it is, but it's about 6 foot tall. I mean, we could get up. I mean, somebody could get up in there very easily.
Yeah, I know when it starts getting warm, we needed to get some cameras and stuff up to that little cave, and the waterfall and all that down there that we saw before.
Yep.
Because they're going to be, if they're anything like other animals, they're going to get into a cool spot like that. That'd definitely be a place to put a camera.
We got cameras now. We had a team member donated us 2 GoPros. I got one and Dale's got one. We can get them put up.
Cool. Sweet.
Wonder if there's like a solar powered camera. Because the GoPros, you charge them up, and the ones we got, they lasted about 14 hours is what I got out of it. So, but we got something that was just a regular camera like that, not IR, that's solar powered. That'd be something interesting to check about.
Mm-hmm.
Or possibly, how'd that work with you, Neil, with the battery thing? You charge it up and you hook it to your device. Them little, I don't know what they're called, but you tried it with your cell phone deal, power packs or whatever they are. That might extend the life.
Whenever I had tried it with my cell phone, I did not set my cell phone up right. And I had messed up the project, so I never did actually go out with a GoPro and hook it up like I wanted to. That's something I would like to try though. I just never have done a try. I never actually done it. I did it with a cell phone, but when I did the recording on the cell phone, I think I set it for like 1 hour with a loop, and I think it just did it until died. So I don't know. I have any clue how long it recorded for. So
Right.
I guess that'd work
And we
okay on a GoPro, wouldn't it?
do what, Dale?
I said, I guess that would work okay on a GoPro, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Only deal about it would be you couldn't have it in the waterproof case because you couldn't get to the plug to plug it up, but you could put it in the regular film case and you could plug it right into it and that'd keep it powered. I figured that would power it for days.
I know that power pack that I have, it'll charge my phone like 5 times. So that would definitely be pretty cool if you could hook it on a GoPro and just let it go. I don't know how much footage that GoPro actually holds. You know what size they are, Wendell, as far as gigabytes?
Depends on what SD card you put in. If you put the 132 gigabyte SD card, you can film for a week. I've got like 6 hours of video on this film that we filmed with the haunted house and doing it. But a lot of it, I just left it on where we get the shots of people walking around and doing everything. And it ain't even like 20% of that 132 gigabyte card. So, so it should last a week anyway, as long as we had power.
Yeah,
that'd be good.
I've got several of those little. They take them little mini cards, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. I've got several of those 128 gig ones around here.
That'd
probably work okay.
I got several of the 64 gigs, but that would last 3 or 4 days. But yeah, anytime you get over 100, you got a lot of video power.
Yeah.
Renee says, I just spent 3 days in Salt Fork State Park here in Ohio, and we caught some great evidence.
Sweet.
What kind of evidence did you catch, Renee? Comment. Anybody got anything they want to ask or tell about, or anything that's planned for the summer? Nothing other than keeping our cameras out and seeing what we get and waiting for reports.
That's what I'm doing. I've been keeping myself busy reading up on the flat earth and the moon landing being fake.
Yeah.
Barry, you had me torn. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I said I definitely believe the moon landing was fake because a lot of the pictures and stuff of the flag moving and everything, there ain't supposed to be no wind in the space. According to the Bible, the best that I can read and point to, it does basically say it's a flat earth. It's in a circle, but it don't say sphere. It says there's a firmament dome above us. I don't know. I'm on the fence on that. I'm still studying, like I've been talking with Barry, but I'm leaning towards a flat earth. Reason I did that yesterday, we had the fire meeting at our local fire deal, and we were standing here, and the sun was coming up in the east, okay, and pointing at us. The moon was almost straight above us, and this was probably 7 o'clock in the morning, and there's still shadow on the moon. How does something it's supposed to be the Earth's shadow on the moon, and how is that possible when the sun's in the east and the moon's straight above you?
Yeah.
I mean, they ain't no line at all. I mean, if you make a shadow, the sun would be here, the Earth here, and then the moon over here. The Earth makes the shadow on the moon. Well, if it's straight above you and the moon's over here, I mean, the sun's over here, it ain't going to put a shadow on the moon up here. All right, we got a question or a comment here. Oh wow. Got great thermal video and pictures of structures. I will send to you after the show. Awesome. Good. Thank you. Yeah, we look forward to seeing that.
What was you going to say, BC?
I just wondered if you had any tornadoes up in your area.
No, not here close. They had some along the Tennessee border, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, we had
the night it blew Paraguay away and was over there closer in BC's area. It come right over the house here, and Dale said it was a lightning storm there, but didn't have no thunder. That was weird.
I've never seen that before. Been through a lot of tornadoes. I've never seen that before.
We had one, I believe, a tornadic cell come over us. I think it may have briefly touched down Liberty Valley just east of us, but I haven't heard anything else about any damage reports. But it was pretty scary there for a while, especially when somebody sent me the message at 9:40 saying there's a tornadic cell over Ball Knob, and I looked at the time and it was 9:49. I'm like, oh well. Okay.
I'll try to do that a little earlier next time, huh?
Yeah, we briefly lost power for about 2-3 minutes, and we did have a couple bouts of hail. First one lasted maybe 35-45 seconds, and the second one lasted maybe 10 or 15 seconds, but no damage that I could see. Had a couple of limbs broke off, but went out there to pull them off, and they were already dead. So
yeah, I've got limbs everywhere out here. Ugh. That was the strangest thing though, because that storm, when it came over, there was lightning, continuous lightning all the way around, and it was just one solid long boom over and over again. And then the hail hit, and then all of a sudden it got just dead quiet outside.
Mm-hmm.
And the lightning was still flashing everywhere, but there was no boom. I'm like, how's that possible? You know, you hear lightning or thunder from miles and miles away, and it just wasn't making any noise.
But it tells you in the Bible, before the end of time, you'll see sights, scenes, and wonders.
Yep.
I think that's what it's coming to.
Yep, sure could be. And we're seeing a lot of that nowadays, all sorts of stuff.
Well, I think it's the Lord warning people that it's not going to be long till He's going to say, "I've had enough," and come get His people. That's what I think it is.
I agree. We're filming our movie and everything, and Matthew Orton from the Drunken Cryptid was here yesterday, and Jacob was here, and we was talking. Sometime they're trying to arrange, maybe sometime in April, we get over and then do a day investigation with them at Ball Knob. The place they had arranged, the guy all of a sudden told him he don't want nobody in there because he's afraid it'll get too public, and there'll be a large group of people wanting to come to the area, so they're moving on down the road somewhere to an area, and they're arranging it and wants us to come with them. I said, well, just let us know. If it's on a weekend, I probably can go. So
have they thought about going into the hurricane bottoms and looking around?
That's what I suggested to them, and they hadn't been down in there, so he's supposed to get back with me sometime into April. We're going to try to arrange that to maybe either go there or their new area with them, just to do a kind of joint investigation and see what happens.
I know a couple of people would like to tag along, or say they would anyway.
Right. Awesome. Oh, one activity that I had heard about is over at your area from Robert. His daughter or granddaughter has been he's been taking her Bigfoot, and then they've had some activity there close to where they live. He had some pictures of footprints today, a video, and then he's got a video. It looks like a peeker that looked around a tree. So that might be an area we could check out that if we come over there too.
Yeah, he said he had a digital voice recorder, digital recorder out there that he was going through. I haven't heard the latest, what he had found, if anything, but it'd be interesting to see if he did, hear what he did find.
Yeah, that's just right before the show. He messaged me that them tracks of him and I guess it's his granddaughter found. Let's see. There we go.
Is any news about any kind of conferences around here coming up?
Only one that's coming up is the one in Falk at April something. That's where the main speaker is going to be Lyle Blackburn and Todd Neese.
Oh, okay.
That's the only one I've heard about.
Kamichi conference is coming up May 17th. I know that.
Oh, yeah?
Down in Tallahassee? Yeah.
I'll save us.
Nose itching.
We ain't gonna have company this time, Mark. Hey, that's enough. Quiet down. You quiet down. Quiet down, be a good boy. You heard me.
You heard he heard you. You see how much good it does.
Go see them. You quiet down. Be a good boy. For a little while. It's that possible.
There it is, April 20th, 26th. 25.
Don't save us.
You got him wound up worse than he already was.
Hadn't Wendell, the one you was talking about?
Yeah.
What was that one you was talking about? Conference?
That's a Tallahassee conference, that Kamichi Mountain conference. That are in Tallahassee, Oklahoma. It's May 17th this year.
Oh, May 17th. Awesome. That's the only two that I've heard about.
I'm surprised we haven't heard something from Mina.
Yeah. Me and Neil talked about hosting one too, but that'll probably be next year or something. It's a lot to go on to get everything rigged up for that, for the conference.
Yeah, there's a lot to plan. Actually, while I'm up here, I'm hoping to go up there and pay a little visit to that location we talked to about. So,
We don't have too many around here.
Kentucky only has 2 or 3 a year.
That's around here. There's the one that Robert Swain puts on in Valonia, and then there's the Mina one, and then the Falk ones. That's the 3 that's around here. Now there's one in Missouri. Dale was going to go to it last year, and we ended up he couldn't go. So I don't remember what happened or something.
I can't remember.
I'd like to go up there to that because that's where that Linda Eastburn does. That's where she she's a part of it and everything. I'd like to meet her and talk to her.
Yeah, that's what that Momo area, isn't it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Is it Springfield?
I think it was Springfield. Yeah. I hadn't seen no flyers on it this year, but I've seen people talking about it. But they hadn't set no dates yet.
Yeah, they're probably coming soon.
We lost BC, I guess. I don't know. Oh, got another comment. There he is. Hey, you're back, BC. Can you hear us, BC?
Yeah, I got booted off. I moved my broadcast location to outdoors. It's a cool evening, and the winds are not gale force like they have been, or like they were for about 7 days.
Right.
Jeez.
Swamp Stomper got some audio from Pine Tree. I've been going through so far. I got coyotes, owls, and wood knots. They have howls in the distance. Definitely wood knots. It must be talking about Renee's evidence and stuff she found over the weekend. Or they may be doing their own. Definitely on the owls, that could be either real owls or it could be Bigfoot. Well, in our area, that's what normally owls are. You might have one to their territorial too, but we've had like 8 or 10 in different directions and answer a whoop beforehand, and then an owl that turned into a growl at the end. And then an owl that was a bark at the end. I ain't very many owls I've heard bark at the end, like oh, and then ark.
And they smelled like skunks.
Yeah. So I would watch out for the owl sound because they definitely mimic. I've heard some people say, "Oh, they don't." Well, we got people that turkey hunt and everything with us sounds just like an owl when they turkey hunting to get the turkeys to gobble. So if humans do it, the Bigfoot definitely does. They're better at hunting than we ever thought about being. So. Oh, it's Robert. Oh, he commented. That's who with a swamp
there,
Robert. Interesting. I didn't know that. That's good. I hadn't heard about the coyotes and owls there. I know you was talking about the wood knocks and what you'd seen. That's cool. Good to have you, Robert. Oh, got an internet question. It says with the changing seasons, and we done mentioned about the blackberry bushes. Do you think their diet changes from season to season, or do they normally try to eat just game? I just like us. I think if you eat anything long enough, you're gonna get tired of it, and you want something different. That's the same way they are.
Yeah. Well, usually when the wild strawberries and blackberries come in around here, the deer population kicks up too. So that's when it's most active around here.
Right? They could be following the game.
Mm-hmm.
We had a comment too when we was at our last investigation. We was talking about cemeteries and everything. I've still been working on that for several years. Hadn't got everything together yet. But why is Bigfoot active around cemeteries? It's my personal belief. Well, first thing, it's nice green grass. That's most of the time the man taken care of. Well, that attracts the other animals. Plus, people don't usually go there at nighttime. So, I mean, it's a perfect area to hunt. That's my personal opinion about it. So,
Speaking of cemeteries, Wendell, up
yeah.
there on Shores Lake Road, I found out from somebody that there's a cemetery hidden in the woods right past Campbell Cemetery. So next time we're up that way, I know where to go.
That'd be cool. Yeah.
The access road to that cemetery has been cut off, but we can walk into it though.
All right. Yeah, definitely. I'll get the video and evidence from around them. And the ones that I've got evidence and pictures around is stuff, old cemeteries too. So, but they're around both of them, even newer ones and older cemeteries. But just so happened where we was at and took pictures and video and stuff was the whole. One was at past what we're calling Area 2X. Neil was there with that one. Then the one up on White Rock Mountain, where Area 1, I guess we was calling it, where the burn pit, across from the burn pit where the trees is all pushed down over the fence. That's the first video I got. And then I got a cemetery there at Marcus's area in Sillamore that they keep having activity and eyewitness. I got an actual eyewitness testimony about that cemetery. So, and then Mortar Creek over here. That's where I first started Bigfooting with that cemetery where Tony Maddox took me over there. I got some video with it over there. Most of the graves in there is from the 1800s.
We don't have no mountains around here.
It might be. We don't have no cemeteries right close either.
I just wondered because we ain't got no mountains around here.
I ain't got no mountains. We got plenty of woods.
We got hollers.
Oh yeah, they like that too. Is there in Hurricane there, BC? Is there being an area like that? There ought to be some old cemeteries in there too. We might not know where they're at, but I bet they are.
Yeah, I'll have to ask about that. Now I do know that to the a little bit of northwest of me, there's one back in a thicket of woods.
Right.
And let me see. Supposedly, it's some of Jim Guy Tucker's ancestors that's buried there. Former governor of Arkansas.
Yeah.
Now, I first discovered that cemetery roaming the woods when I was about 12 or 13. And it's behind somebody's house. I'm sure they knew about it. But here's the weird thing about this cemetery. And I kid you not, I looked at one of these headstones. The person died March 22nd, 1862. I was born March 22nd, 1962. So that was kind of like one of those ooh moments.
Yeah.
And it was Robbins and Rue-Bottoms are two of the names that were in that little small cemetery.
Probably look up some of the history of them names around the area there.
Yeah, I believe that the one that died 100 years the day before I was born was I think it might have said he was a Union soldier or Union officer. So it must have been some skirmish around here or something where he died, or maybe he died of disease, or who knows. But yeah, that's something I want to try to find out about.
Awesome, man. Yeah, keep us informed about that.
And I have heard whoops from that direction, but I think it's a pond that a neighbor of mine put in, a neighbor to the west of me put in here several years ago. And that's where Larry Williams, who was down there with us that one time in Mallard Pond. And we were standing in front yard. It was July 2nd. I think it was 2022. Yeah. And we heard those whoops come from that direction. Just bigger than Dallas. I mean, we're just talking. All of a sudden, we heard them. There they were. And I don't know if any of you ever listened to Sasquatch Chronicles. And there, in some of the episodes, they have an audio montage. And there's whoops in that one. And that's exactly 100% exactly like what we heard. Yep.
We've kind of answered this before on it says, does Sasquatch have more activity with certain colors or anything like you could leave in the woods, like gifting? What would be the best things to leave or gift? And like we said before on the past, watch out on the gifting. If you do it, don't do it nowhere close to your house area. Because if you ever stop, they get upset and come to your house. As far as the colors, we hadn't really done much on that until Renee and her team and the Muddy Creek Bigfoot podcast lady was talking about colors, and they said blue's the most active that they've had around activity around when they'd had anything out in the field or anything they gifted. And I said, well, that's jokingly, we've always had activity around we used to put up a giant blue tarp for our outhouse, and now we got a giant blue outhouse. And when we had the night when we had them on thermal coming right at us, they was coming from behind the blue outhouse. So I don't know if that had anything to do with it or not, but there's been a lot of activity. We have to agree with being around blue. Might have been a coincidence, but that's something we could check out. I still want to do.
I got rid of that blue tent, that's for sure.
Yeah. I don't blame you after getting almost drug around. I've wanted to do, and that's where we can do the GoPro thing if we can get a long battery on it, and that is to put a mirror up in the woods and see if anything's attracted to that mirror. Because if you're something was walking through there, even if they wasn't attracted by the scent or anything else, if they see there's something else up there, just like a bear that I seen on there that attacked one, and a deal where they did it with gorillas that way. It ended up the whole troop of gorillas come to look into the mirror. Wouldn't it be amazing if we had that going on with Sasquatch all of a sudden?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
I've used a deer stand with nothing but it was a ground blind that was nothing but big old mirrors out of a shower, and I actually had big bucks come up and challenge themselves in the mirror. So that's probably very probable.
So that's what I want to try the next time we go to the area too. We'll bring a mirror and the GoPro and mount it and just see what happens.
I still want to get that little short stuffed alien thing and stick it inside a cave, see what it does.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
No, I don't even know how much that thing costs. It looks too real. It's probably expensive. Probably more than I'm wanting to pay.
Well, that's a lot of things nowadays. Although we talking about stuff being expensive, one of the guys that come to shoot in our movie that we're filming about the haunted house, he said down in South Arkansas, gas was like $2.01, $2.10. I said, well, it ain't up here that way. I hope it moves up here quickly. All right. Anybody got any topics they want to talk about, or anything other cryptid related that's happening around that you've heard in the country or anything?
I haven't, but you may not recall me telling you this girl I know. They lived, I think, west side of Little Rock somewhere, and they lived in a mobile home. And her bedroom window was probably about, she estimates about 9 feet or so above the ground. And she had told me about it years ago, and I saw her here a couple of weeks ago. So I asked her about it again, and she went into a little bit more detail. She said that she ran in there and told her mother and her stepfather about it, and he said, "Is it still there?" She run back, and it was. Well, then he picked up a gun, started charging back there, and it had left. But she said it looked like it had a beak, and I said, "Would it have been possible that it had been a snout?" And she said, "Yeah, that's possible." That because she was only like 9 years old. This is about like 25, 26 years ago. But I thought, if that had a snout, yikes. Because that could have been, I think, a gugwe or a genosqua. I think more like a gugwe that's got the snout. And I'm like, well, that wouldn't be nice.
That's tall, though, for a gugwe, isn't it?
That's tall, yeah.
That's very tall, yeah.
They're usually kind of shorter and more vicious and wider. I'd mentioned about my cousin being in the Indian tribe. We got invited out there if we want to come out there this fall.
Oh, really?
In Oklahoma. Yeah. So, yeah.
Where's that at?
I'm going to try to arrange that and go out there with us and figure out when we can go. Probably sometime in September, what she was saying. So
Awesome. Heck yeah, I'm definitely down for that.
Yeah. My deal, I'll have to talk with her. Of course, we could just say we're just there camping, but technically, I reckon you're supposed to, but that's on the reservation, so that's a total different rule, I think, and I have to check. But you're supposed to buy your license in Oklahoma to be Bigfooting, so I don't know. We may have to buy a license, but like I said, that's on the reservation, so it shouldn't have nothing to do with their.
Yeah, I wouldn't think so.
Yeah. But yeah, she said they've had all kinds of activity and continue to have activity, and we could get encounters, firsthand encounters from them, and they wouldn't feel bad about telling about it at all because they all know it exists. So pretty much everybody in the two reservations has seen one at one time or another.
Yeah, that's what really amazed me down there around Tallahena. There's a lot of tribal elders that just kind of hang around and listen, to the presentations and everything. And if you ever get them outside and get them talking, they'll sit there and tell you about it.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't take much part in the conferences themselves, but they'll definitely talk to you.
Yeah, that's kind of what she said. Once you get out and they're local one-on-one, because her husband owns like 10, 15 acres there of the tribal land, but they go out there every other month, they said, and stay out there. But in September she'll arrange and we'll come and I don't know what they'll do. They said they'd host us out there pretty good, and I said, okay, sounds good to me. I'll ring you. When we get it together, we'll go.
Yeah, I'm down.
I'm down.
Yeah. Sounds good. Well, everybody hadn't had much activity and everything, so we ain't had a lot to talk about. We had some good questions. Oh, here's another question just talking about her. Like what kind of cryptic questions? Well, ask the question. We'll tell if we can answer it.
Yep.
It's all. I mean, this is a
Give us a
Seekers
try. See what happens.
we focus on Bigfoot, but there's all kinds of stuff we've investigated. Shoot us a question, and we'll see if we can answer it. Or if you got any information, shoot that.
What is that?
Wanted to know what kind of questions they could ask.
Now we're open to anything, and as far as cryptids, the area I live in, it's pretty much a case of you name it, we got it.
Yeah, definitely around Ball Knob.
Man, Mothman, Dogman, aliens, Bigfoot, orbs, UFOs, perhaps even what they call Littlefoot. There have been reports of those up around Russell, which is close to Buzzard Roost that I was telling you about earlier, where that classmate of mine saw that one back in '76. So
That's the year I was born.
yep, I hear him.
Mostly around all we've had here is Bigfoot, and they've had a couple. I would say was the Ozark Howler, but that was in the late '50s, '60s here along the Catter. Hadn't been no reports of that. Then at Heber Springs, they got the Heber Springs Water Panther. It's a cross between a Bigfoot and a Water Panther, but I think the main reason they say it was it stayed in the river a lot, moved around. So I think it's just one of the Bigfoot that is adapted more. Like up in Alaska, they have Bigfoot that they call them the muskmen that stay in water a lot. So I think that was what it was. It actually killed 2 people that was putting the railroad in, and the Water Panther did. It was a big deal back then. Everybody was scared about it.
That picture that y'all got up there at Bald Knob when we got that tree thrown at us, that looked almost like a wraith or something. That's the strangest thing I've ever seen.
Talking about
that group photo.
Yeah.
That had. There's still stuff in there I can't identify. I mean, could have been a dog man in there. Could have been like what do they call them? Baphomets that's right back there behind the alien and the Bigfoot in the trees. It looked like them. I'm just guessing. I could be totally wrong on that. Or a skinwalker. I don't know. But like I said, there's, and that one with the round head that's bipedal. That's another one. I have no idea what that could be, but it was a weird experience.
Yeah,
that picture looked like they were having a convention back there.
Yeah,
right, all your friends.
Yeah, and we was right there when the log come flying in.
That's something that we just go out there in daytime, just looking for tertiary evidence like footprints and tree breaks, and we walk up on a convention. There's people that spend decades doing this. They never see a thing, and then the 5 of us walk up on it.
Yeah. I'm going to see if I can find that picture. Don't know if I can or not, but we'll see. Yeah, that was a crazy day.
Yeah, I'd like to run that through some more filters, or have somebody that can do that. Maybe we can. Might be easier to break out some of the things.
Yeah, some of the new AI that's out there for posting pictures and everything. I'd like to see if it could bring out any more detail.
Yeah, I don't know anybody that has that program, but yeah, it'd be interesting.
Well,
or downright terrifying, either or.
Yeah, there's a free one on the internet called Unblur, that I've used it on pictures, and it does pretty well.
Dale, I sent you that picture. You want to try it with that?
Yeah,
Or was
man.
that you? Yeah, give it a try. I mean, I'd love to see what else is in there.
Cool.
I'll send you the picture later.
Okay, man.
I think it was, I don't know if it was you or Wendell that had them broke down in those black and white images. That would be where I've seen some of the extras. So that would be the ones, yeah, try that. I'll send them to you here in a little bit.
Cool.
Yeah, I broke them down black and white. I just can't find them right handy right now to post them on the page, but I'll try to get them. And here's the other. He's wanting to know about aliens. Yes, it's all around ball.
Oh yeah, I've caught some on a video. It was a girl I sent to Michigan that does a lot of dogman research, and she sent me back the video, and she saw that and sent me a screen capture and said, "Did you notice this?" And I'm like, "Well, no, I didn't." So that's twice I've caught them on film or on video.
Huh.
Well, that other one was down there at Mallard Pond.
Right. I hadn't heard of this. He said not to mention the cloudy scenes. Hoo-hoo. I don't know. Hadn't heard nothing about that. Animals, yeah, like the giant bird over the Midwest. I actually heard a report of that this week.
Thunderbirds.
Yeah, out of Kansas.
Now I've had two reports of giant spiders in this area too.
Oh gosh, no.
Yeah, well, one was to the west of Searcy. This was in around 75. Where two girls saw one feeding on a rabbit, and then the other one was from about 25 years ago, where my cousin and a couple other guys were out in a fishing boat down there at Hurricane, believe it or not. I said, "Why didn't you guys shoot it?" He said, "Hell, we was afraid to either fall in the boat with us or it would have fell in the water."
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, so yeah, we've got those two.
Lots of experiences.
I'll tell you about my experiences. I mean, we just talked about one of them, but we're running short of time, unfortunately, or I'll tell you about some of mine.
Go ahead. We still got
Thunderbirds. I think I've seen them.
Well, there's that. Oh, I'm going to keep this family friendly, but it was me and a girl were parked south of town. And it was it's around January, February 1982. And I remember it was really windy, and I kept hearing what sounded like voices. It wasn't until I got into this research decades later where people report hearing voices sounds like conversation. You can't make out the words. And I'm like, just, do you hear that? It sounds like voices. And then a moment later, she raised up and said, "What's that?" And I turned around and looked out the front windshield, and it was dark, but there was something huge standing in front of the car. I couldn't see the head, but I could see the arms and down to the legs. And then to my left, I could see half of one, which would have been the left half of one that was shorter. And to the right, and this one kind of perplexed me because I thought it was farther away, but now I think it was just a juvenile. So that was a family group that walked up on us that night. Needless to say, we got the heck out of there pronto. I mean, and then there was that, I guess that guy still, yeah. I was stalking the woods. Now, everybody else has heard this, so thank you. I've got some time too before morning prayer. Okay. This was in December of 1989, and there's some cliffs a little over a mile to the west of me. My father said he had heard they had collapsed, which, was disappointing because I'd played out there a lot as a kid. So I went to go look, and I never took a gun with me. That one time I took a double-barrel shotgun with me because of, feral dogs and all that. At least I had something to scare them off with. So I got out. I started walking down. It was going downhill to the trail, to the creek. It's at the base of the cliffs. I heard steps off to the left of me. I didn't think anything about it because a lot of people go out there. Then I walked and stopped, and I heard that, that 3 steps again. I'm like, yeah. Happened a third time. I called out, said, hey, man, I got a gun. Let me know where you're at so I don't shoot in your direction. I didn't get an answer. So I walked down, finally get down to the creek, and some of them had collapsed. But I'm hearing the footsteps behind me again, and I swing around. I'm looking right where those footsteps are coming from. I don't see a thing. Now, this is winter. I mean, there's already been frost and freezes. Everything's down. I don't know what it could have been, but I immediately just became filled. I was terrified. I started blasting. I shot 6 to 8 rounds out of a double barrel. You'd be surprised how fast you can load and reload when you're that scared. And I kept going back up the trail, constantly firing into the woods, and finally got out of there. So there's other things. I'll talk about that another time. But yeah, that was 1989. I have not went back out there since, and that's been, it's 35 years ago last December, and I still have not went back down there.
That's amazing. I have.
Well, we've had cloaked entities in this area. I know, and these are multiple witness and children on top of that.
I had one incident when I was a teenager. Me and my dad had been. We got there early in the morning, hunting on one side of the road, right before daylight, and off in the woods on the other side of the road, there's a bright light. I say probably 150, 200 yards, and back there's a clearing. Well, we squirrel hunted all that morning. We come out on the road, and Dad said, well, we can go over there and try it a little bit. We didn't see what that light was anyway. We walked out there, and in that clearing, probably 10, 15 areas grass. You know how it grows up. It's probably close to waist tall. And we're walking across that field there, looking around, trying to figure out what that bright light was. We got out there. There's a perfect circle burning the ground that's probably 18 inches across. And I mean, it was just black burnt into the ground. I mean, it just ashes. But none of the other sage grass around in that circle had been burnt. And that's the only place, just that ring all the way around like that. And we looked around, and it's like, gotta get here. You feel it. As I say, get out. I don't know what did that, but it took something extremely hot to be able to burn a circle like that. And it's perfect round. And the grass was just at the stage it was still green, but the summer heat had started probably early June, so the tops of it, some of it was brown. Anything that burnt that much is going to burn all the way around. So I don't know. That's weird. That's probably the only alien thing that I thought possibly could be an alien that I've encountered.
I was on a date one time, quite a few years ago, and I went out to the lake out here. I don't know, 73 Chevrolet, and it was a nice night. Wind was kind of blowing right out there by the lake. So we just laying on the hood, looking at the stars and stuff. And they came over in formation right over the top of us, and she got really quiet. What the hell was that? And I said, what do you think it was? I never saw her again.
Well, we're getting our flashing line. We got 4 minutes till we got to start paying. So I guess we better end this and look to next month for around the 23rd for the next Seekers podcast. And just let everybody go around, and I'll end it. Dale, go ahead with you, and then Barry, and Neil, and then BC, and then I'll end the show. Go ahead, Dale.
I wish we would have had a little bit more to talk about from the areas we're in, but just gets a little shy on evidence. But it's always fun to keep out there and stay on the ground, collect what you can. Y'all have a good night. Enjoyed it. Barry?
What's that?
You gonna give us a send off here?
Oh, God bless everybody. Be careful. Take it easy. We'll see you next time, I reckon.
Yeah. Neil?
Everybody being safe out there and enjoy the weather, and don't drive through campgrounds running 80 miles an hour like this fool just did. Be safe out there and try to get out here and enjoy this weather, guys. It's nice out. That's it.
BC?
Well, good Lord will, we'll all be here for the next podcast, and hopefully no more tornado outbreaks. I think we've had all we need for the year.
Yep.
So anyway, God bless, and everybody stay cool, stay safe.
All right. That concludes the podcast, the Seekers podcast. We'll see you back around April 23rd, and we look forward. If you got any questions or anything by then, comment and post them. Or here before we go, got one last question or a statement from the scale. It says I saw a dark, shadowy figure in a light figure too, twice. Once in a dream, the other time the corner of my eye caught it. There's definitely a lot of people have seen this and kind of activity. I've had people tell me about it, and even had stuff like that happen myself. It's just odd things that happen. We'll talk more about that next time. I'll do some more research on that, and we'll see what I can come up with.
Yep, shadow people.
Shadow people, yep.
Yeah, I've seen them once.
All right. I want to thank everybody for tuning in and joining our podcast. We'll see you next month.
All right, take care, y'all.
Take care.
God bless.
God bless.
All right, the stream's over.